so much for being here. What an amazing night we've already had. The juniors just presented Merchant of Venice, so thanks for coming back or for coming to see the seniors. Either way, we're so glad that you're here. They put a ton of work in on a show that's about 2,500 years old. So when you first pitched this idea to a bunch of high school seniors that they're going to do a Greek tragedy, they were not sure at first, but I think after living with it for a little bit, I think they're excited about what they've been able to produce. Now, I want to tell you something about Greek tragedy. For some reason, somebody didn't hear me say this in one of the other shows. It's sad. There's no jokes from beginning to end. It's all suffering and death. And you're like, neat. I'm so glad I signed up for an hour of this. Let me tell you the point, though. Okay, so according to Aristotle, who wrote this down in his Poetics, he believed that tragedy had a really important role in the culture. It basically served two functions. One of the functions was to make you feel negative emotions on purpose. The idea of a tragedy is to make you feel fear and pity in a theater so you can purge yourself of those emotions. And then afterwards, you'll feel better. And this is interesting. You go in, you go to the theater, you have a good cry, and then you go vote with a clear conscience. That's what it was. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to make any political commentary, but there is a small chance that we have been carrying around as a culture maybe some fear and possibly some pity. And maybe if we spent some more time really purging ourselves of those emotions, things would be a little different. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. All right? But so tonight I'm super excited. My invitation to you is to feel it. It's not normal for us. We don't typically take in this kind of entertainment. So my anticipation is that you're probably going to want to resist feeling it. So, feel it. It's okay. It's the point. It's the reason we're here. I'm super proud of them. What they're doing is amazingly difficult. The number of lines that these students have had to memorize, the way the whole show works, and the flow of it is so unlike anything that they would normally have performed, and I'm so grateful that they stepped up to the challenge. They built a throne, and they painted walls, and they made their own costumes, and it was a really, really great time for all of us. So I'm super proud of them. I know you're going to really enjoy it. We've got a 1-hour runtime on this, so don't feel like you're going to be here for the next 3 days. We'll be done about 7 o'clock. Alrighty. So without further ado, please, if you manage to turn your phone on in between the break, please go ahead and turn it off. Without further ado, the senior class of Great Hearts Northern Oaks would like to present Antigone.
My own flesh and blood, your sister dear Ismene, how many griefs our father Oedipus handed down? Do you know one? I ask one grief that Zeus will not perfect for the two of us while we still live and breathe. There is nothing, no pain. Our lives are pain, no private shame, no public disgrace. There is nothing I haven't seen in your grace and in mine. And now this, an emergency decree, they say, the commander has declared for all of Thebes. What? Haven't you heard? Don't you see? The doom reserved for enemies marched on the one we love the most.
Not I, Antigone. I haven't heard a word. Nothing of loved ones, no joy nor pain has come my way. Not since the two of us were robbed of our two brothers. Both gone in a day, a double blow. Not since the armies of Argos vanished, just this very night. I know nothing more whether our luck's improved or whether it's still to come.
I thought so. That's why I brought you out to investigate.
What's the matter? Trouble. Here it sounds so dark, so grim.
Why not? Our own brother's burial. Creon has graced one with all the rights and disgraced the other. Eteocles, they say, has been given full military honor, rightly so, and he goes down with glory from the dead. But the body of Polynices, who died miserably, why a citywide proclamation, rumor has it, forbids anyone to bury him, even mourn him. He is unwed, unworried, a lovely treasure for birds to scan and feast to the heart's content. Such is the martial law our good Creon lays for you and me. Yes, me, I tell you. And he comes here to alert the uninformed and in no uncertain terms. And he will not take the matter lightly. Whoever disobeys in the least, he will die. His doom is sealed, stoning within the city walls. There you have it. You will show who you really are, Ismene, a coward for all your royal blood.
I do them no dishonor.
decide. Will you share the work, share the labor?
What work? What's the risk? What do you mean?
Will you raise up his body with these bare hands and lower them with them?
What? You'd bury him when a law forbids the city?
Yes, he is my brother. And deny it as you will, your brother too. No one will convict me for a traitor.
So desperate, and Creon has expressly...
No. Creon cannot take me for my own.
Our two brothers dead in a single day. Both shedding their own blood, poor spring boys, battling out their common destiny hands in hand. Now look at the two of us, left so alone. Think of what a death will die, the worst of all if we violate the laws and override the fixed decree of the throne. Its power. We must be sensible. Remember, we are women. We were not born to contend with men. Then too we are underlings, ruled by much stronger hands than these. So we must submit in this, and things still worse. I for one, I'll beg the dead to forgive me. I'm forced, I have no choice. Why stand in the way of those in power? Why rush to such extremes? It's madness. Madness.
Do as you like. Whatever suits you best. I will bury him myself. And if I die in the act, that death will be a glory. I will lie with the one I love and loved by him. An outrage sacred to the gods. I have more time to please the dead than please the living here. Down in the kingdom I'll lie forever. Do as you like. Dishonor the laws the gods hold in honor.
I do them no dishonor, but defy the city? I have no strength for that.
You have your excuses. I am on my way. I will build a mound for my dear brother.
Oh, Antigone, you're so rash. I'm afraid for you.
Do not fear me. Set your own life in order.
You're wrong from the start. You're off on a hopeless quest.
I know I please who I must please the most.
So fiery enough to chill your heart.
If you say so, you'll make me hate you. And the hatred of the dead, rightly so, will haunt you night and day. So leave me to this absurdity. Leave me to suffer this dreadful thing.
They go if you must. But rest assured, wild, irrational as you are, my sister, you are truly dear to the ones who love you.
Glory, great beam of sun, brightest of all that ever rose in the land of Thebes, you burn through night at last.
Great eye of golden day mounting the Dirce's banks, you throw him back, the enemy out of Argos, the white shield, the man of bronze. He's flying headlong now, the bridle of fate stampeding him with pain.
And he had driven against our borders, launched by the warring claims of Polynices, like an eagle screaming, wheeling havoc over the land, wings of armor shielded white as snow. A huge army massing, crested helmets bristling for assault.
But now for victory!
Glorious in the morning, join her eyes to meet our joy. She is winging down to Thebes, our fleet of chariots wheeling in her wake.
Now let us win oblivion from the wars, throwing the temples of the gods, and singing, dancing choirs of the night.
Lord Dionysus, God of the dance that shakes the land of Thebes, now lead the way.
But look, the king of the realm is coming. Creon, the new man for the new day. Whatever the gods are sending him now, what new plan will he launch?
Why this special session? Why this sudden call to the old man to summon that one command?
My countrymen, the ship of state is safe. The gods who rocked her, after a long, merciless, pounding in the storm, have righted her once more. Out of the whole city, I call you here alone. Well, I know, first, you are in deviating respect for the throne and the royal power of King Laius. Next, while Oedipus steered the land of Thebes, and even after his death, your loyalty remained unshakable, and you still stood by their children. Now that the two sons are dead, two blows of fate in the same day, both killers, both brothers, stained with each other's blood, As I am next in kin to the dead, I now possess the throne and all its powers. Of course, you can never know a man completely. His character, principles, sense of judgment, not till he's shown his true colors, ruin the people, making laws. Experience, there's the test. Remember this, our country is our safety. Only while she voyages true on course can we establish friendships truer than blood itself. Such are my standards. They make our city great. Closely akin to them, I have proclaimed, just now, the following decree concerning the two sons of Oedipus. Antigone, who died fighting for Thebes, excelling all in arms, he shall be buried, crowned with a hero's honors. The cups we pour to soak the earth and reach the famous dead. But as for his blood brother, Polynices, who returned from exile, consumed with one desire, to burn them root to roots, who thirsted to drink his kinsman's blood and sell the rest to slavery. That man, a proclamation is forbidden to the city to dignify him with burial, mourn him at all. No, he must be left unburied, his corpse carrion for the birds and dogs to tear, an obscenity for the citizens to behold. These are my standards. Never at my hands would the traitor be honored above the patriot. But whoever proves his loyalty to the state, honor that man in death as well as life.
This is your pleasure, Creon, treating our city's enemy and our friend this way. The power is yours, I suppose, to enforce it with the laws, both for the dead and all of us, the living.
All of my heart is close to them. Be on your guard.
What commands for us, then? What are the servants?
See to it that you never side with those who break my orders.
Never. Only a fool could be in love with death.
Death is a price, you're right. But all too often the mere hope of money has ruined many men.
My lord, I cannot say I'm winded from running or set out with any spring in my step either. Oh no, sir, I was lost in thought. It made me stop often dead in my tracks, wheeling, turning back, and all the while a voice inside me muttering, "Idiot, why? You're going straight to your death." Then muttering stopped again, "Poor fool. If someone gets the news to Creon first, what's to save your neck?" And so, mulling it over, on I trudged, dragging my feet. You can make a short road take forever. But at last, look, common sense won out. I'm here and I'm all yours. And even though I come empty-handed, I will tell my story just the same, because I come with a good grip on one hope. What will come, will come. Whatever fate.
Come to the point. What's wrong? Why so afraid?
First, myself, I've got to tell you, I didn't do it, didn't see who did it. Oh, be fair, don't take it out on me.
You're playing it safe, soldier. Barricading yourself from any trouble. It's obvious you've something strange to tell.
Dangerous, too. And danger makes you delay for all you're worth.
Out with it, then dismiss.
All right, here comes the body. Somebody's just buried it. Then run off, sprinkled some dry dust on the flesh, given it proper rites.
What? What man alive would dare?
I have no idea, I swear it. There was no mark of a spade, no pickaxe there, no earth turned up, the ground packed hard and dry, no tracks, no wheel ruts, nothing. The workmen left no trace. Just at sunup, the first watchman of the day pointed out it was a wonder. We were stunned. A terrible burden, too, for all of us. Listen, you can't see the corpse. Not that it's buried, really, just the light covered road dust on it. As if someone meant to lay the dead to rest and keep from getting cursed. Not a sign in sight that dogs or wild beasts worried the body, even torn the skin. Finally, one man spoke out. Here's what he said. Look, we've got to report the facts to Creon. We can't keep this hidden. Well, that went out, and the lot fell to me. Condemned to me. Unlucky as ever, I got the prize. And so here I am, against my will, and yours too, well I know. No one wants the man who brings bad news.
My king, ever since we began, I've been debating in my mind. Could this possibly be the work of the gods?
Stop, before you make me choke with anger. The gods? You're senile. Must you be insane? You say, why it's intolerable. Say the gods can have the slightest concern for that corpse. Tell me, was it for meritorious service they proceeded to bury him, prize him so? The hero came to burn their temples, ring with pillars, their golden treasures, and fling their laws into the wind. Exactly. When was the last time you saw gods celebrating traitors? Inconceivable. No. From the very first, there were certain citizens who couldn't stand the spirit of my regime, grumbling against me in the dark, heads together, tossing wildly, never keeping their neck beneath the yoke. These are the instigators, I'm sure. They perverted my own guard, bribed them, everyone, the whole crew bribed to commit this crime. They've made one thing sure at least. Sooner or later, they will pay the price. You. I swear to Zeus, as I still believe in Zeus, if you don't find the man that buried that body, that very man, and produce him before my eyes, simple death won't be enough for you.
Please, may I say a word or two, or just turn and go?
Can't you tell? Everything you say offends me.
The culprit grates on your feelings. I just don't know your ears.
Still talking? You talk too much. A bore nuisance.
Maybe so, but I never did this thing, so help me.
Yes, you did. What's more, you squandered your life for silver.
Oh, it's terrible when the one who does the judging judges things all wrong.
Well, you should be clever about your judgments. If you fail to produce the criminals before my eyes, you'll swear your dirty money brought you pain.
Numberless wonders, terrible wonders, walk the world, but none the match for man.
That great wonder crossing the heaving gray sea, driven on by the blasts of winter, on through breakers crashing left and right, holds a steady course, and the oldest of the gods he wears away.
The earth, the immortal, the inexhaustible, as the clouds go back and forth, year in, year out, with the breed of talent serving up the furrows.
In speech and thought quick as the wind, in the mode, the mind, for the law that rules the city. All this he has taught himself, in shelter from the arrows of the frost, with his rough lodging under the cold, clear sky, in shaft of lashing rain.
Ready, resourceful man.
Never without resources, never at an impasse as he marches on the future. Only death. From death alone he has no rescue, but from desperate plagues he has plotted his escape.
Man the master, genius past all measure, past all dreams, the skills within his grasp.
He forges on, now to destruction, now again to greatness.
When he weaves in the laws of the lands, and the justice of the gods that binds his oaths together, he and his city rise high.
But the city casts out the man who weds himself to inhumanity, thanks to reckless daring. Never share my hurt, never think my thoughts, whoever does such things.
Here is a dark sign from the gods.
What to make of this? I know her, how can I deny it? That young girl's Antigone.
Wretched child of a wretched father, Oedipus. Look, is it possible?
They bring you in like a prisoner. Why? Did you break the king's law? Did they take you in some act of mad defiance?
She's the one. She did it single-handedly. We caught her burying the body. Where's Creon?
Back again, just the time we need him.
In time for what? What is it?
My king, I'm bringing in our prisoner, this young girl. We took her giving the dead the last rites. But no casting lots this time. This is my luck, my prize, no one else's. Now, my lord, here she is. Take her, question her, cross-examine her to your heart's content, but set me free. It is only right. And rid of this dreadful business once and for all.
Prisoner? Her? You took her? Where? Doing what?
Burying the man, that's the whole story.
What? You mean what you say? You're telling me the truth.
She's the one. With my own eyes I saw her burning the body, just what you've forbidden. There, is that plain and clear?
What did you see? Did you catch her in the act?
Here's what happened. We went back to our post, those sets of yours breathing down our necks. There we saw the girl, and she cried out a sharp, piercing cry, like a bird coming back to an empty nest, peering in its bed and all the babies gone. Just so, when she sees the corpse bare, she bursts into a long, shattering wail and calls down withering curses on the heads of all who did the work. And she scoops up dry dust, handfuls, quickly, and lifting a fine bronze urn, lifting it high and pouring, she crowns the dead with 3 full libations. As soon as we saw, we rushed her, closed on the kill like hunters, and she didn't flinch. We interrogated her, charged her of offenses past and present, and she stood up to it all, denied nothing.
You, with your eyes fixed on the ground, do you deny you did this? Yes or no?
I did it, I don't deny a thing.
You, get out, wherever you please. You're clear of a very heavy charge. You, tell me briefly, no long speeches. Were you aware of the decree of forbiddenness?
Well aware. How could I not? It was public.
And still you have the gall to break the law?
Of course I did. It wasn't Zeus, not in the least, who made this law, not to me. Nor did the justice dwelling with the God who gave the earth ordain such laws for men. Nor did I think that your edict had such force that you, if you're mortal, could override the gods, the great unwritten, unshakable traditions. They are all alive, not just today or yesterday. They lived from the beginning of time, and no one knows when they first saw the light. These laws. I will not break these laws, not out of fear some man's wounded pride to face the retribution of the gods. Die I must, I've done it all my life. How could I keep from knowing, even with your death sentence ringing in my ear? And to keep my own mother's son to her rocks, an unburied corpse, that would have been an agony. This is nothing. And if my present actions strike you as foolish, let's just say I've been accused of folly by a fool.
Like father, like daughter, passionate, wild, she has learned to bend before adversity.
No, believe me, the stiffest stubborn wills fall the hardest. The toughest iron, tempered strong in the white-hot fire, you'll see it crack and shatter first of all. And I've known spirited horses you can break with a life bit. Proud, rebellious horses. There's no room for pride, not in a slave, not with a lord and master standing by. This girl was an old hand at insolence when she overrode the edicts we made public. But once she had done it, the insolence, twice over, to glory in it, laughing, mocking us to our face with what she'd done. She'll never escape. She and her blood sister, the most barbaric death. Yes, I accuse her sister of an equal part in scheming this burial. I just saw her inside, hysterical, gone to pieces. It never fails. The mind convinces itself in advance when scoundrels up to no good plotting in the dark.
Creon, what more do you want than my arrest and execution?
Nothing. Then I have it all.
Then why delay? Your moralizing repels me. Every word you say, pray God it always will. Anything I must say must naturally appall you too. Enough. Give me glory. What greater glory than to give my own brother a decent burial? These people here would agree with me. They would praise me too if their lips weren't locked in fear. Lucky tyrant. Perquisites of power. Ruthless power to do and say whatever pleases them.
You alone, of all people in Thebes, see things this way.
They would see it the same way, but prefer to you and keep their tongues in leash.
And you? Aren't you ashamed to differ so from them? So disloyal?
Not ashamed for a moment. Not to honor my own brother, my own flesh and blood. It wasn't some slave that died.
Ravaging our country. But Antigone died fighting in our behalf.
No matter. Death longs for the same rights for all.
Never the same for the traitor and the patriot.
I was born to join in love, not hate.
Then go below in love, if love you must. Love the dead. While I'm alive, no woman will lord it over me.
Look, Ismene's coming, weeping in sister's tears, loving sister under a cloud.
Her face is flushed, her cheeks streaming. Someone puts her lovely radiance in the dark.
You, in my own house, you viper, slinking undetected, sucking my lifeblood. I never knew I was breeding twin disasters. The two of you rising against my throne. Come, tell me, will you confess your part in this crime or not? Answer me. Swear to me.
I did it, yes. If only she consents. I share the guilt, the consequences too.
No. Justice will never suffer this. I never brought you in. She was unwilling.
But now you face such dangers. I'm not ashamed to sail through troubles with you. Make your troubles mine.
Who did the work? That the dead and the god of death bear me witness. I have no love for friends who love in words alone.
No, my sister. Don't reject me, please. Let me die beside you, consecrating the dead together.
Never share my dying. Do not lay claim to something you never touched. My death is enough.
But don't I care for life cut off from you?
Ask Creon. Your concern is all for him.
Tell me, what can I do to help you, even now?
You chose to live and I chose to die.
But not at least without every kind of caution I could voice.
Your wisdom appeals to one world mind to another.
They're both mad, I tell you. The two of them. One just showed it, and the other's been that way since she was born.
How can I live alone without her?
Her? Don't even mention her. She no longer exists.
You kill your own son's bride?
Absolutely. Though there are fields for him to plow.
Perhaps, but never as close and as true a bond as theirs.
A worthless woman for my son? It repels me.
Dearest Haman, your father wrongs you so.
Enough, enough. You and your talk of marriage.
Creon, you're really going to rob your son of Antigone?
Death will do it for me. Break their marriage off.
So it's settled then? Antigone must die?
Settled? Yes, we both know that.
Blessed. They are truly blessed who all their lives have never tasted devastation.
Brothers, once the gods rocked a house to its foundation, the ruin never stops, pressing on and on.
From one generation on throughout the race, like a great mounting tide.
Driven on by savage northern gales, surging over the dead black depths.
Roiling up from the bottom dark heaves of sand and the headlands, taking the storm's onslaught full force.
Roar, and a low moaning echoes on and now.
As in ancient times, I see the sorrows of the house, the living heirs of the old ancestral kings.
Piling on the sorrows of the dead, one generation cannot free the next.
Some god will bring them crashing down. The race finds no release.
And now the light, the hope springing up from the late last fruit in the house of Oedipus.
That hope's cut down in turn by a long bloody knife, swung by the gods of death, by a senseless word.
By
fury at the heart.
He was a wise old man who coined the famous saying, sooner or later, doubtless fairest thou for the man the gods shall ruin. He goes his way for a moment only, free of blinding ruin.
Here's Haman now, the last of all your sons. Does he come in tears for his bride, for his doomed bride Antigone, bitter at being cheated of their marriage?
We'll soon know, better than tears can tell us. Son, you've heard the final verdict of your bride. Do you come now, rave against your father? Or do you love me, no matter what I do?
Father, I'm your son. You in your wisdom set my bearings for me. I obey you. No marriage could ever mean more to me than you, whatever good direction you may offer.
Fine, Haman. That's how you ought to feel within your heart, subordinate to your father's will in every way. What wounds cut deeper than a loved one turned against you? Spit her out, like a mortal enemy. Let her go. Let her find a husband among the dead. Imagine it. I caught her in a naked rebellion. The traitor. The only one in the whole city. I'm not about to prove myself a liar. No. I'm going to kill her. That's right. So let her cry for mercy and sing her hymns to Zeus, who defends all bonds of kindred blood. Show me the man who runs his household well. I'll show you someone fit to rule the state. And that good man, my son. I have every confidence. He and he alone can give orders and receive them too. Staunch in the storm of spears, he'll stand his ground. A loyal, unflinching comrade at your side. But whoever steps out of line, violates the law, or presumes to give orders to superiors, he would no praise from me. But that man the city places in authority, his orders must be obeyed, large and small, right and wrong. Anarchy! Show me a greater crime in all the earth. She destroys cities, rips up houses, and breaks the ranks of spears in the headlong rout. But the great masses of them that stick it out, they owe their lives to discipline. Therefore, we must defend those who live by the law. Never let some woman triumph over us.
To us, unless only to rob us of our wits, you seem to say what you have to say with sense.
Of course it's not for you to watch whatever men say or do, or find to criticize. The man in the street, you know, dreads your glance. He'd never say anything displeasing to your face, but it's for me to catch the murmurs in the dark. The way the city mourns for this young girl. No woman, they say, ever deserved death less. In such a brutal death for such a glorious action. She, with her own dear brother lying in his blood, she couldn't bear to leave him dead, unburied, food for the wild dogs or wheeling vultures. Death, she deserves a glowing crown of gold. So they say, and the rumor spreads in secret, darkly. Now don't be quite so single-minded, self-involved, or assume the world is wrong and that you are right. Whoever thinks that he alone possesses intelligence, the gift of eloquence, he and no one else, and character too, such men, I tell you, spread them open, you will find them empty. No, it's no disgrace for a man, even a wise man, to learn many things and not to be too rigid. You've seen trees by a raging winter torrent. How many sway with the flood and salvage every twig? But not the stubborn, the ripped out, roots and all, bend or break. Oh, give way. Relax your anger. Change. I'm young, I know, but let me offer you this. It's best to learn from those with good advice.
You do well, my lord, if he's speaking to the point, to learn from him. And you, my boy, from him. And both are talking sense.
So, men our age, we're to be lectured, are we? Schooled by a boy his age?
Only in what is right. But if I seem young, look less to my years and more to what I do.
Do? Is admiring rebels an achievement?
I'd never suggest that you admire treason.
Isn't that just the sickness that's attacked her?
The whole city of Thebes denies it, to a man.
And it's Thebes about to tell me how to rule.
Now you see, who's talking like a child?
Am I to rule this land for others or myself?
It's no city at all owned by one man alone.
But the city's the king's. That's the law.
What a splendid king you'd make of a desert island. You and you alone.
This boy, I do believe, is fighting on her side. The woman's side.
If you are a woman, yes. My concern is all for you.
Why, you degenerate! Banning accusations, threatening me with justice, your own father.
I see my father offending justice. Wrong.
Wrong? Respect my royal rights?
Protect your rights when you trample down the honors of the gods.
You soul of corruption, rotten through, woman's accomplice.
That may be, but you will never find me accomplice to a criminal.
That's what she is, and everything you say is blatant appeal for her.
And you and me and the gods beneath the earth.
You will never marry her, not while she's alive.
Then she will die, but her death will kill another.
What? Brazen threats. You go too far.
What threat? Combating your empty, mindless judgments with a word?
You'll suffer for your sermons, you and your empty wisdom.
If you were my father, I'd say you were insane.
Don't flatter me with father, you woman slave.
You really expect to fling abuse at me and not receive the same?
Is that so? Now by heaven I promise you'll pay. Taunting, insulting me. Bring her out, that hateful. She'll die here, now, in front of his eyes, beside her groom.
No, she will never die beside me. Don't delude yourself. And you'll never see me, never set eyes on my face again. Rage your heart out. Rage with friends who can stand the sight of you.
God, my king, in a burst of anger, a temper young as his, heard him once. He may be something violent.
Let him do. Dream of something desperate, past all human limit. Good riddance. Rest assured, he'll never save those two young girls from death.
Both of them? You really intend to kill them both?
No, not her. The one whose hands are clean. You're quite right.
But Antigone, what sort of death do you have in mind for her?
I will take her down some wild, desolate path, never trod by any man, wall her up alive in a rocky vault, and there set out short rations, just the measure piety demands to keep the entire city free of defilement. There, let her pray to the one God she worships, death.
Love never conquered in battle. Love the plunderer, laying waste the rich.
Love, you rush the minds of the righteous in outrage, swerve them to their ruin. You have ignited this kindred strife, father and son at war.
And love alone the victor, warm glance to the bride triumphant, throned in power, side by side with the mighty laws. Irresistible Aphrodite, never conquered. Love, you mock us for your sport.
But even ours were the rebel against the king. I break all bounds when I see this. I feel tears, cannot hold them back, not anymore.
I see Antigone make her way to the bridal vault, where all are laid to rest.
Look on me, all you fine rich sons, setting out on the last road, looking into the last light of day, the last I'll ever see. The god of death who puts me to sleep, he drags me down to the banks of a can alive, denied of my wedding songs. No wedding songs, in the dust crown my marriage. I go to marry the lord of the dark water.
Not found with glory or with the dirge. You leave for the deep pit of the dead.
Your withering image lays you low. Strokes of the sword allot to yourself. No mortal like you, ever. You go down to the halls of death, alive and breathing.
City of Thebes, oh you fine rich sons, and you spring of the Dirce, you at least, you will bear me witness. Look, unmourned by friends, Forced by such crude laws, I go to my rock-bound prison. Oh, strange new tomb, always a stranger. Oh God, I have no home on earth and none below, none with the living and none with the breathless dead.
You went too far, the last limits of daring, smashing against the high throne of justice.
Your life is a ruin, child. I wonder, do you pay for your father's terrible ordeal?
There, at last you've touched it. The worst pain, the worst anguish, raking up my father's grief 3 times over for all the doom that has struck us down, the brilliant house of Laius. Oh, mother, your own bridal bed, the coiling pores, the coupling there, with your own son, my father, doom-struck mother. Such are my parents, and I, their wretched child. I go to them soon, cursed, unwed, to share their home. Oh, brother, your marriage murders mine. Your dying drags me down to the banks of a can alive.
Reverence asks some reverence in return, but attacks on power never go unchecked.
Not by the man who holds the reins of powers, your own born will. Your passion has destroyed you.
I am in agony. No tears for the destiny that is mine. No loved one mourns my death.
Can't you see? If a man can wail his own dirge before he dies, he'd never finish. Take her away quickly, while we're up in a tomb. You have your orders. Abandon her there, alone, and let her choose death or a buried life with a good roof or shelter. As for myself, my hands are clean. This young girl, dead or alive, will be stripped of her rights, her strangest rights, here in the world above.
Oh, tomb, my bridal bed, my house, my prison, cut in the hollow rock, my everlasting watch. I go to them soon embracing my own, the great growing family of our dead that Persephone has received among her ghosts. I, the last of them all, most reviled by far, I go down before my destined times run out. Still I go, cherishing one good hope, that my arrival may be dear to my father, dear to you, my mother, dear to you, my loving brother, Antigone. I addressed you all. I poured the sacred cups across your tomb. And now this, Polynices, because I laid you out too, this is my reward. Nevertheless, I honored you. Even the decent will admit it well and wisely too. Never, I say, if I was the mother of children, or if my husband had died rotting and exposed, I would have never taken this ordeal upon myself, never defied our own people's will. What law, you say, do I satisfy with I say? A father, a son, a husband lost, there might be another. A child with another too, if I had lost the first. But mother and father lost in the halls of death, no brother could spring to life again. For this law alone I held you first in honor. For this Creon, our king, judges me a criminal, guilty of dreadful outrage, my dear brother. They drag me down, a captive in their own hands, with no part in the wedding songs, the bridal bed, denied all joys of marriage, raising children. Deserted so by loved ones, struck by fate, I descended to the caverns of death alive. What law of the mighty gods have I transgressed? Why look into the heavens anymore, tormented as I am? Whom to call? What comrades now? Just think. My reverence has branded me for irreverence. Very well. If this is the pleasure of the gods, once I suffer, I will know that I was wrong. But if these men were wrong, let them suffer nothing less than what they mete out to me. These masters of injustice.
Still the same rough winds, the wild passion raging through the girl.
Take her away quickly. You're wasting time. You'll pay for it too.
Oh God, the voice of death is coming. It's here.
True. Not a word of hope. Your doom is sealed.
Land of Thebes, city of my fathers, O gods, the first gods of the race, they drag me down without delay. Look on me, all you fine, rich sons, on the last of a great line of kings. I alone know what I suffer now, at the hands of what breed of men? All forever. My reverence for the gods.
Lord of Thieves! I and boy have come together hand in hand to see with the eyes of one, so the blind must go with the God to lead the way.
What is it, old Tiresias? What news now?
I will teach you, and you obey the seer.
I will. I've never wavered from your advice before.
And so you kept the city straight on course.
I owe you a great deal. I'll swear to that.
Then reflect, my son, you were poised once more on the razor edge of fate.
What is it? I shudder to hear you.
You will learn when you listen to the warnings of my craft. As I sat on the ancient seat of augury in the sanctuary where every bird I know will hover at my hands, suddenly I heard it, a strange voice in the wing beats, an unintelligible, barbaric, mad scream. Talons flashing, ripping, they were killing each other, that much I knew. The murderous fury whirring in those wings made that much clear. I was afraid. I turned aside, hands to the burnt sacrifice, ignited the altar at all points, but no fire. The God in the fire never blazed, not from those offerings. Over the embers slid a heavy ooze from the long thigh bones, smoking, sputtering out. And the bladder puffed and burst, sprang gall into the air, and the fat wrapping the bones slithered off and left them glistening white. No fire. The rites failed that might have blazed the future with a sign. So I learned from boy here, he is my guide, as I'm guide to others. And it is you, your high resolve that sets its plague on thieves. The public altars and sacred horrors are fouled, one and all, by the birds and dogs who carrion torn from the corpse, the doom-struck son of Oedipus. And so the gods are deaf to our prayers. They spurn the offerings of our hands, the flame of holy flesh. Take these things to heart, my son, I warn you. All men make mistakes, it's only human. But once the wrong is done, a man can turn his back on folly, misfortune too, if he tries to make amends, however low he's fallen, and stops his bull-necked ways. Stubbornness brands you for stupidity. Pride is a crime. No, yield to the dead. Never stab the fighter when he's down. Where is the glory killing the dead twice over? I mean you well. I give you sound advice. It's best to learn from a good advisor when he speaks for your own good. It's pure gain.
Old man! All of you! So you shoot your arrows at my head, like archers at the target. I even have him loosed on me. This fortune teller. Always ilk has tried to sell me short and ship me off for years. You'll never bury that body in the grave. Never. Not even if Zeus's eagles rip the corpse and wing their rod vikings back to the throne of God. Never. Not even in fear of such defilement will I tolerate his burial. That traitor. Oh, Reverend old Tiresias, all men fall, but the wisest fall obscenely when they glorify obscene devices of rhetoric, all for their own gain.
Oh God, is there a man alive who knows, who actually believes?
What is it? What earth-shattering truth are you about to utter?
Just how much sense of judgment, wisdom, is the greatest gift we have.
Just as much, I'd say, as a twisted mind is the worst affliction known.
No, Creon, you're the one who's sick, sick to death.
I am in no mood to trade insults with a seer.
You have already, calling my prophecies a lie.
Why not? You and the whole breed of seers are mad for money.
And the whole race of tyrants lust for filthy gain.
This slander of yours, are you aware you're speaking to the king?
Well aware. Who helped you save the city?
You. You have your skills, old seer, but you lust for injustice.
You will drive me to utter the dreadful secret in my heart.
Spit it out. Just don't speak it out for profit.
Profit! Not a bit of profit. Not for you.
Know full well, you'll never buy off my resolve.
Then know this too! Learn this by heart! The chariot of the sun will not race through so many circuits more before you have surrendered one born from your own loins, your own flesh and blood. A corpse for corpses given in return, since your thrust toward below, child sprung from world above, ruthlessly lodged a living soul in the grave. Then you've robbed the gods below the earth, keeping a dead body here in the bright air, unburied, unsung, and hollowed by the rites. You have no business with the dead, nor do the gods above. This is violence you force upon the heavens. And so the avengers, the dark destroyers, late but true to the mark, now lie in wait for you. The fury is sent by the gods, the god of death, to strike you down with pains that you perfected. There. Reflect on that. Tell me I've been bribed. The day comes soon, no long test of time, not now, when the morning cries for men and women break throughout your halls. These arrows for your heart. Since you raped me, I loose them like an archer in my anger. Arrows, deadly true. You'll never escape their burning, searing force. Come, boy, take me home, so we can vent his rage on younger men and learn to keep a gentler tongue in his head with better sense than what he carries now.
The old man's gone, my king. Terrible prophecies. Well, I know since the hair on this old head went gray, he never lied to thieves.
I know it myself. I'm shaken, torn. It's a dreadful thing to yield. But resist now? Lay my pride bare to the blows of ruin? That's dreadful too.
But good advice, Creon. Take it now, you must.
What is it? Tell me. I'll obey.
Go. Free the girl from the rocky vault, and raise a mound for the body you exposed.
That's your advice? You think I should give in?
Yes, my king, quickly. Disaster sent by the gods cut short our follies in a flash.
Oh, I'm on my way. I, my better judgment, have come round to this. I shall with her. I will set her free myself. Oh, I'm afraid it's best to keep the established laws to the very day we die.
God of 100 names,
Great Dionysus, son and glory of Semele, pride of Thebes,
child of Zeus, whose thunder rocks the clouds,
Lord of the famous lands of evening,
king of the mysteries,
King Ulysses, Demeter's plain, her breasting hills that welcome the world, great Dionysus.
Bacchus, living in Thebes, the mother city of all your frenzied women.
Bacchus, living along the Ismenus' rippling waters, standing over the fields sown with the dragon's teeth.
Dionysus, down to watch and ward the roads of Thebes.
First of all cities, Thebes you honor first, you and your mother, bride of the lightning.
Come, Dionysus, now your people lie in the iron grip of plague.
Come in your racing, healing stride, down Parnassus' slopes or across the moaning straits.
The Lord of the dancing, dance, dance the constellations, breathing fire.
Great master of the voices of the night, child of Zeus, God's offspring, come forth.
Lord, king, dancer the nymphs, swirling, raving, arm in arm, in frenzy through the night.
They dance you, Bacchus. Dance, Dionysus, giver of all good things.
Neighbors, friends of the house of Cadmus and the kings, there's not a thing in this mortal life of ours I praise or blame is settled once for all. Fortune lifts and fortune fells the lucky and unlucky every day. No prophet on earth can tell a man his fate. Take Creon. There was a man to rouse your envy once as I see it. He saved the realm from enemies, taking power, he alone, the lord of the fatherland. He set us true on course. He flourished like a tree with the noble line of sons he bred and reared. And now it's lost, all gone.
What now? When you grieve the house of the kings.
Dead, dead, and the living are guilty of their death.
Who's the murderer? Who is dead? Tell us.
Haman's gone, his blood spilled by the very hand.
His father's or his own?
His own, raging mad with his father for the death.
Oh, great seer, you saw it all. You brought your word to birth.
Those are the facts. Deal with them as you will.
Look, Eurydice, poor woman, Creon's wife, so close at hand. By chance, perhaps, it just heard the news about her son.
My countrymen, all of you, I caught the sound of your words as I was leaving to do my part, to appeal to Queen Athena with my prayers. I was just loosing the bolts, opening the doors, when a voice filled with sorrow, family sorrow, struck my ears, and I fell back, terrified, into the women's arms. Everything went black. Tell me the news again, whatever it is. Sorrow and I are hardly strangers. I can bear the worst.
Dear lady, I'll speak as an eyewitness. I was there. Truth is always best. I escorted your lord, guided him to the edge of the plain where the body lay. Polynices, torn by the dogs and still unmourned. Pluto, too, to hold their anger and be kind. We washed the dead in a bath of holy water, and plucking some fresh branches, gathering what was left of him. We burned them all together and raised a high mound of native earth, and then turned and made for that rocky vault of hers. the hollow, empty bed of the bride of death. And far off, one of us heard a voice, a long wail rising, echoing out of that unhallowed wedding chamber. He ran to alert the master, and Creon pressed on closer. And that strange, inscrutable cry came sharper, throbbing around him now, and he let loose a cry of his own, enough to wrench the heart. Oh God, am I the prophet now, going down the darkest road I've ever gone? My gun, it's his dear voice, he greets me. Go, men, closer, quickly. Go through the gap, the rocks are dragged back. And look, see if it's Haman's voice I think I hear, or the gods have robbed me of my senses. The king was shattered. We took his orders, went and searched, and there, in the deepest, dark recesses of the cave, we found her, hanged by the neck in a fine linen noose, strangled in her veils. And the boy, his arms flung around her waist, clinging to her, wailing for his bride, dead and down below, for his father's crimes and the bed of his marriage blighted by misfortune. When Creon saw this, he ran in, gave a deep sob, shouting, crying out to him, "Oh, my son, what have you done? What disaster, what insanity, what disaster drove you mad? Come out, my son, I beg you on my knees." The boy gave him a wild, burning glance. He spat in his face, not a word in reply. He drew his sword, lunged, and missed. And then doomed, desperate with himself, suddenly leaning his full weight on the blade, he buried it in his body halfway to the hilt. And still in his senses, his arms poured around her. He embraced the girl, and breathing hard, released a quick rush of blood, bright red on the cheek, glistening white. And there he lies, body enfolding body. He has won his bride at last, poor boy. Not here, in the houses of the dead. Creon shows the world that of all the ills afflicting men, the worst is lack of judgment.
What do you make of that? The lady's gone, without a word, good or bad.
She won't do something rash.
I'm not so sure. To me, at least, a long heavy silence promises danger, just as much as a lot of empty outcries.
I'm going in. You may be right, who knows? And too much silence has its dangers.
The king himself, coming toward us. Look, holding the boy's head in his hands. Clear, damning proof of his right to say so. Proof of his own madness, no one else's. No, his own blind wrongs.
Oh, my crimes. So senseless. So insane. My stubborn, deadly. Look at us. The killer. The killed. Father and son. The same blood. The misery. My plans. My mathematic heart. My son. Cut off so young. I, dead. Lost to the world. Not through your stupidity. No. My own.
Too late, too late. You see what justice means.
Oh, I've learned through blood and tears. Then. It was then when the god came down and struck me. A great weight, shattering, driving down that wild, savage path, ruining, trampling down my joy. Oh, the agony, the heartbreaking agonies of our lives.
Master, what a heart of grief you have. The grief that lies to hand you brought yourself. The house. In there. You'll see it all too soon.
What now? What's worse than this?
The queen is dead. The mother to this poor boy. The mother to the end. Poor thing, her wounds are fresh.
No. No. Harbor of death. So choked, so hard to cleanse. Why me? Why are you killing me? Herald of pain. More words. More grief. I died once. You kill me again and again. What's their port, boy? Some news for me? My wife dead. Oh dear God. Slaughter. Heaped on slaughter.
See for yourself. Now they bring her body from the palace.
Oh no. Another? A second loss to break the heart? I just held my son in my arms, and now a new corpse rises before my eyes. Wretched, helpless mother. Oh, my son. How did she end her life? What bloody stroke?
She drove home to the hearth with her own hand when she learned her son was dead. The agony.
Oh, the dread. I shudder with dread. Why not kill me too? Run me through with a good, sharp sword. Oh God, the misery, anguish, I'm turning with it. How did she kill herself? What bloody stroke?
She stabbed herself at the altar. With her dying breath, she called down curses on your head, for you killed her sons.
And the guilt is all mine. Can never be fixed on another man. No escape for me. I killed you. God help me. I admit it all. Take me away, quickly, out of sight. I don't even exist. I'm no one. Nothing.
Good advice. If there's any good in suffering, quick is best when troubles block the way.
Come. Let it come, the best of fates for me that brings the final day. Best fate of all. Oh, quickly now, so I never have to see another sunrise.
That will come when it comes, and must deal with what lies ahead. The future rests with those who tend the future.
That prayer, I poured my heart into that prayer.
No more prayers now. For mortal men, there is no escape from the doom we must endure.
Take me away, I beg you, out of sight. A rash, indiscriminate fool. I murdered you, my son, against my will. You too, my wife. Wailing, wreck of a man, whom to look to, where to lean for support. Everything I touch goes wrong. Once more, the crushing fate has come down upon my head.
Wisdom is by far the greatest part of joy.
And reverence towards the gods must be safeguarded. The mighty words of the proud are paid in full with mighty blows of fate, and at long last those blows will teach us wisdom.
JT!